In the first few chapters of Boruto, a lot of things were introduced that somewhat changed the trajectory of the universe itself, whether it be the new scientific ninja tools or just the full-on embracement of technology being a core aspect within the ninja system, or the expansion of the lore in regards to the Otsutsuki clan members and their goals with cultivating the god tree. Both are very unique aspects of Boruto's story that lines up perfectly with Naruto's continuity. However, there's one technique that never truly made sense, or rather the way the characters chose to address it was quite baffling. And of course, as the video title suggests, the ability we're referring to is called the Karma Seal. You see, there's nothing wrong with the ability in concept. It pretty much allows the Otsutsuki to attain a form of immortality by constantly resurrecting within a new body. To be more specific, the Karma Seal is stated to be an highly compressed Otsutsuki backup file. The compressed file slowly extracts over time, and once all of that data is fully extracted, the Otsutsuki who gave you the Karma Seal will fully resurrect within your body and you will cease to exist. So the concept itself is pretty simple. We've actually seen a version of the technique before in the form of Orochimaru's cursed mark. This pretty much allowed him to impart his powerful Senjutsu chakra to someone imbued with his cursed seal, which then allowed them to enter a cursed mark state or undergo sage transformation. In addition to that, it was later revealed that a copy of his consciousness is stored within the seal itself, which is how Sasuke was able to resurrect him during the Fourth War. So we can definitely see where they got the idea from when creating the Karma Seal. The main issue lies in why the characters were unable to get rid of the Karma Seal after it was placed on Boruto after he defeated Momoshiki. You see, it's stated that during the battle, Momoshiki converted himself into data, replicated himself, and implanted that into Boruto's body, which means he intends to extract his data within Boruto and use him to complete his resurrection. The only stated way to stop this is either by killing Boruto, thus getting rid of Momoshiki, or by removing the Karma Seal itself. The issue here is that the only way to remove the Karma Seal is if the Otsutsuki who implanted it resurrects within another vessel. This is because while an Otsutsuki can have multiple vessels, they can't risk having multiple copies of their consciousness active at the same time. So the Karma Seal automatically removes itself from any additional vessels once the Otsutsuki has chosen the one they wanted to resurrect with. This information about karma was relayed to the main characters through a new character by the name of Amado, who basically worked for an organization named Karma that specialized in this study. This character is very important since he has studied karma for years in his effort to find Ishiki Otsutsuki, the perfect vessel. However, he later went against Ishiki and defected to Konoha, where he relayed to them all that he has learned about karma and the Otsutsuki. So at this point, we have Boruto, who has had Momoshiki's karma for months, and Kawaki, who has had Ishiki's karma for multiple years, along with the guy who helped Ishiki secure Kawaki as a vessel and studied him for years. Yet with all this information, no one thought that maybe they should remove the body part that has the Karma Seal, and maybe that should get rid of the karma. Now, I know you guys are probably saying that this is stupid or that it doesn't make sense, but hear me out for a second. You see, if we look at how the karma itself is physically depicted, it's more so a chip rather than just a mark. The chip itself is created when the Otsutsuki converts themselves into data, and then that chip is inserted into the vessel's body, which then manifests likely near the point of contact. I say this because while Boruto and Kawaki had the Karma Seal on their palms, Jigen's Karma Seal manifested on his chin. This would make perfect sense since Ishiki dwelled within the head of Jigen when he implanted him with karma. This would mean that the chip as it's depicted here is lodged into Jigen's chin as it would be in the palms of Boruto and Kawaki. The karma mark in itself is once again implied to be a chip when Momoshiki revived Boruto using the data from his Karma Seal to reconstruct his organs. He first explained that about 82% of his data had been extracted and diffused into Boruto's body. This simply means that only 18% of his data remained in the Karma Seal itself. How this entire process is depicted on panel is with the Karma Seal as a chip that is slowly dissolving into the body. The portion that remains at the top being the 18% data that wasn't extracted. Momoshiki then decided to take that 18% of data and use it to reconstruct the organs within Boruto's torso area after he was impaled by Kawaki. Now if we take a closer look at the panel that illustrated the process, we can clearly see that the Karma's data is slowly rebuilding the damaged area as the black marking is filling his chest, along with the inside area looking very similar to the data portion of the Karma chip. What's also interesting is that similar to how the diamond-shaped Karma mark remained on Boruto, Kawaki, and Jigen even while the Karma wasn't active, this physical portion of the Karma Seal that just reconstructed Boruto's chest did the same thing, which kinda implies that the diamond mark on the bodies of the karma vessels is a physical chip as it's depicted here, as opposed to just being a marking that spreads across his body when he activates the karma seal. So in theory, if one was to, let's say, carve out the physical seal in the palm of Boruto's hand, that would prevent Momoshiki from fully extracting all of his data, which he needs in order to resurrect. The funny thing about this is that it was actually suggested by Kawaki in jest. It was like a day after he lost his arm to Delta's eye beam and had to use a prosthetic arm powered by Naruto's chakra. When Boruto saw the fake arm on Kawaki, he said that it was kinda cool and he wished he had one. So Kawaki jokingly asked Boruto if he wanted him to blow off his hand, and if it goes well, he might get rid of karma as well. These characters then all laughed and went along with their day. That's pretty much all there is to it. Now, no one even addressed it as a possibility or maybe something they should look into. By the way, this was before they knew anything about the karma to even deduce that it wasn't an option without trying. But even after they learned more about it directly from Amado, the idea was never brought up or addressed ever again. This was very strange in that you'd think that this would be something anyone would try. This would be the first thing you would try. Hey, you have a parasite latched onto your body. How about we remove it, or we remove the body part that has the parasite so that it doesn't spread to the other parts of the body. Again, even Amado, who worked on the karma seal for years, multiple years, and said that the karma seal was like a sugar cube you put into your tea that eventually dissolves completely, once again pointing to the karma seal being a physical component within the body that's slowly extracting its data. Now there is another way to interpret this. If we go back to chapter 59, Amado explained that even though Kawaki's karma seal was deleted, meaning the backup file as it's described here is no longer present within his body, the Otsutsuki data that was downloaded into his body while he had the karma still remains. He later explained that Kawaki being a vessel is like a house, while the karma would be the door to that house. Now that the door is gone, meaning the karma is no longer on his body, Kawaki can no longer enter the house. This means that Kawaki still retains the data and the power extracted from the karma before the backup file was deleted when Ishiki resurrected within Jigen. So within Kawaki, Ishiki's power still sleeps, or at least a portion of it. So if Amado could still construct the door or reconstruct the karma on Kawaki's body, Kawaki could once again enter that house and use its power, which is exactly what happens. What you could then say is that the karma seal, which is the compressed Otsutsuki backup file, is a physical item inserted into the body, but it's not the same as the mark on the palm or chin, even though they look the same. So the real karma backup file is lodged somewhere else in Boruto's body, slowly extracting its data. However, with everything shown to us so far, it's more so pointing to the mark on the hand being the actual chip, but if we accept that this is the case, we will then have to come to the conclusion that the writers are inept. So let's just say we ignore all of that and assume that this isn't a plot hole per se. It's just something the writers chose not to properly address because they didn't think that the audience or the characters would be foolish enough to see this as a possibility, even though they weren't given any reason to believe otherwise, and neither were the characters. We're really just left with this circular reasoning that the sky is blue because it is. So it can't just be that they could have stopped all of this by cutting Boruto's hand off, because they would have done so if it was so easy. No actual reasoning in universe as to why they didn't even attempt to do so, just a one-off joke by the author who probably knew that we were going to ask this question someday. But as I said before, if you interpret this as an actual chip being lodged somewhere else in Boruto's body, it somewhat alleviates the problem. I say somewhat because if you assume that it's lodged somewhere else in Boruto's body, you're basically telling me that the village has no technology that allows them to detect foreign objects within a body. So even after finding out exactly what the karma was through Amado, no one tried locating the file itself to remove it from the body before it finished extracting. Sasuke didn't even use his Sharingan, which allowed him to see things at their cellular level back in early Shippuden, to scan Boruto's body for the object. None of that happened at all. And if they did, this was never suggested, implied, or shown, so we're left to just assume that maybe they did or maybe they didn't. Who knows? All I'm saying is that they could have provided more clarity on the matter instead of just letting us wonder if a character thought about trying something, or if they did and it didn't work. At least tell us that it didn't and why. And if the physical karma dissolving in the body isn't the same as the one on the palm, they should have designed one of them differently to avoid confusion. There's also the issue of Momoshiki seemingly being able to implant his karma on Boruto post getting destroyed for some weird reason, but Ishiki and Urashiki couldn't. I actually made a theory video on this on why this happened, but it would be nice to have some confirmation information later on in the story. What I also found weird is that the karma is stated to extract the data of the Otsutsuki along with their chakra into the body of the vessel, but for some reason whenever Kawaki uses karma, he has to absorb additional chakra to do anything impressive. The same goes for Momoshiki, who had to absorb chakra from Naruto to create the Rasengan he used to destroy Boruto. So my question is, where exactly is the chakra extracted from the karma seal and what is it being used for? You could technically argue that maybe the vessel has access to that chakra normally since it's also added to their reserves. However, Boruto is still relative to regular Jonin level ninja at some points during the anime, even with that potent Momoshiki chakra. That's even if he has access to it, that's basically the theory here. So the power is very inconsistent. Now, is the whole thing about the karma being a chip truly a plot hole? Probably not, but is it a great title for this video? So with that being said, let me know your thoughts on it in the comment section. Do you think it's a plot hole? Do you think it's just me not understanding the story? I'm probably gonna get a lot of comments saying that, it is what it is, but let me know your thoughts in the comment section on this and also the other points brought up in the video as well about the chakra and all that jazz. If you guys like the video, drop a like. If you're new, subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace out.